Heartway Farms. I'm Annie and this is Julianne, and we are in the kitchen, dining room, staying very busy today with all things apples. We had a customer gift us a huge amount of apples, which we love so much, and not only do we feed that to the animals and use it for composting and baking and all of those sorts of things, but we also make apple butter, apple sauce, we freeze apples for the winter, all sorts of things. Juicing, we do all these things. But when you're using apples, you usually have a lot of scrap left. Like this is chock full, and I have a whole nother bin like this of apple peels and apple cores. So when you have all of this, instead of just throwing it out in the garden for compost, these are all good things, giving it to the chickens for scraps, the rabbits love these, but we are able to do that and give them those things, but we also love making apple cider vinegar. And today we want to show you that process because it has become more and more expensive to buy apple cider vinegar, especially if you're looking at buying the kind that's organic, that has the mother in it. It's very expensive, and we use it for all sorts of things.
Yeah, we use it for baking, cooking. I use it in a lot of personal care products or medicinal purposes.
Our shower room always smells like apple cider vinegar because Julianne uses it to rinse her hair. It's so good for you. We love, you can even clean with it and do all sorts of things like that. So in order to have it available here throughout the whole winter, we want to start the process of making our apple cider vinegar. So let's get started, and we're going to share the process with all of you.
So apple cider vinegar is super easy to make. All you have to have is just apples, sugar, water, and a little bit of time. Actually, a lot of time. A few months.
A lot of time, yeah.
A few months of it just sitting there doing nothing. Okay, so first, I'm going to add, let's do 4 tablespoons of sugar. I'm using organic cane sugar, but you can use any sugar.
And this is because in the process of fermentation, or the switching from current state to being vinegar, yes, something needs to be edible in there. So the sugar feeds what's going on.
Yes, it feeds the bacteria along with the sugar that's remaining in the apples. And then to the sugar, I'm going to add about a cup of hot water. It just needs to be warm enough to dissolve the sugar.
Okay, and we're gonna do that in every jar.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go and do that in every jar.
You go ahead and I'll stir behind you just to get the sugar to dissolve. These jars have been thoroughly cleaned. You do want to start with nice clean materials. You want good bacteria, not bad bacteria.
Yes. Put the rest of that in there.
Yeah, you can be gracious with amounts when you're doing this. Do you want to add a little bit more to that, or do you think it's fine?
It should be fine.
Okay.
It just needs to dissolve the sugar.
This one. That's looking pretty good, actually, except for a little tiny bit.
So I'm gonna go ahead and stuff our jars with the apple peels and cores, and I'm gonna stuff it till about around halfway, but stuff it, like pack it pretty tightly.
Ooh, the ropes. Goes on and on.
Lots of apple strips. That looks pretty good.
Okay, Julianne has filled these up about halfway with our peels and our cores and our apple scraps. And now we're gonna top off each jar with clean water that's come out of our Berkey. So kind of like a filtered water situation. So let's get these all filled up.
And then I'm just gonna go ahead and run my spatula in here, my spoon, and just kind of get rid of any of the major air bubbles and kind of stir it together.
Okay, get this last one filled up. Julianne's getting out any bubbles, any air, anything that's just stuck in there.
Mixing everything together.
Yeah.
Trying to get that sugar evenly distributed.
It will continue to mix together naturally and incorporate together, so. It looks like fall, doesn't it? I don't know. I know apple cider vinegar is not just a fall thing, but apples certainly are. And all of these projects always remind me of fall. When the apple butter's going, when this is going, all the different things. Okay.
And then you're just gonna want to cover your jars with something that is breathable. So I'm using, we have some napkins, some fabric napkins, and it's just thin enough that everything can breathe through. It won't build up any pressure.
Do you want it doubled over?
Yeah, like that. But it'll keep all the bugs out and all the hair and all of the dust.
One thing I do love is, if possible, and it's not always possible, but if you're making apple cider vinegar and you're gonna have it sitting on a shelf or a counter or a cabinet, it's nice to have it kind of look cute and pretty too. I mean, this is so cute. And it's fun to have, like, turn your homegrown things like our microgreens, you know, sitting on the shelf, being beautiful and pretty. It's fun to have them being beautiful and pretty and kind of like a decoration as well. Not only functional, but pretty.
So now we're just gonna go put these in a cool-ish, dark location. And then in a few days, I'm gonna go ahead and take off the tops and stir them and put the tops back on. I'm gonna do that every few days for the next week to 2 weeks. And then I'm just gonna leave them after that amount of time and then just let them ferment on their own for 1 to 3 months.
And then when the time comes,
then you just pour this through a strainer and then you bottle it up and you have your apple cider vinegar ready to go.
It's that easy. It's that easy. So I hope you try this out at home with any of your apple scraps coming up this fall, and let us know how the process goes for you. We'll continue to keep you updated with the process here at our house. We've had great success